Hi Aries, how are you? This is your November reading. So we're going to go into the energy for you, see what message we get. If you've got Aries anywhere in your chart, you may resonate with this message. It is divinely timed, so whenever you watch it, it is fine. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for giving the video a thumbs up. So let's go into this. Let's see what Spirit is saying for Aries for November, the next few weeks, really. Okay. Ace of Cups, a positive new emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationships, deep and lasting spiritual insights. Okay, so this is all coming through your relationships, this energy, right? This is what I'm getting shown for Aries. It's coming through your relationship zone, where you may have felt very challenged by relationships, and even sometimes challenged by your own spirituality because of perhaps a lack of belief or a lack of trust, finding it hard to surrender, finding it hard to accept. You know, lots of challenges there within your spirituality, lots of challenges there within your relationships. It feels like there's been relationships that have plagued you, really, where you've been trying to surrender, trying to accept, but, you know, at the same time, it's like, you know, the ego just wanting to take control and say, it's got to be this way, or it's just got to be over, or, you know, just, it feels like it's been really hard, okay? But what's happening in November is this is all getting easy, much easier. There's like an awakening. There's more spiritual presence around relationships for Aries. What that means is in November or the next few weeks, you basically start to notice that Spirit is a lot closer to you, calming you, helping you. It's what you've been wanting for ages, but you couldn't really access it. But it feels like in November you're going to access it more deeply. And it's going to have such a positive impact on relationships for you. Some of you could meet a new partner, or you could find a relationship with somebody starts to improve. Not just a lover, but this could be even friendships as well. I feel friendships as well improving, other types of relationships. So let's see what else we're getting. Here of the fiery sword. You've got great willpower and determination to kind of view your relationships from that energy of Spirit. And because the Ace of Cups is such, well, it's one of the most spiritual cards in the deck, really. And then, you know, here the fiery sword is one of the most determined energies you can have. So there's a determination for you, and it's not just coming from you. This is a spiritual energy that is making it easier and easier for you to view your relationships from a very spiritual perspective, and not just a perspective, but an actual very conscious energy. It's just, I know it sounds strange, but it's just like not having to force things anymore, just finding yourself more peaceful about things, and finding that the more peaceful you start to become, the more these relationships improve. It's like really weird. Okay, let's go deeper. So you've balanced the scales of karma. That's what you've done. I feel like you've recently released in October, maybe September, probably the last 2 years, last 3 years, like me. You've been releasing all this old karma, right? Which is pain body and ego, and realizing that all the times you've been purging, you've been going through those really uncomfortable days where it's just like there's tears, there's all sorts of crap coming up. You know, you're just purging stuff out, old energy, and you've just been letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, and pulling yourself into the higher mind, pulling yourself into the higher mind, pulling yourself into the higher mind. And the more you've been doing that, you've just basically been balancing the scales of karma. You know, you've been paying off your karmic debts. So November's a very happy month for Aries, much more joyful. Look at that, the sun. You know, this is success. Like I say, relationships, I mean, this card, you can see the relationship in there. Relationships, much more fun-loving, much more enjoyable, much more free, much more just successful, okay? Now, this is a really great news. Now, what's going to happen is that you're going to find such a it's like you're just clicking in with spirit, and spirit's therefore able to work through you, and it's just like boom, everything's starting to improve and get easier for you to interact with people, different types of relationships. Like I said, all sorts of relationships. You could be involved with somebody that's either a child or a sort of immature type of person, but you actually are having fun. Now what happens often when we have these big breakthroughs, right, is get ready, because the ego has a great momentum to it. We've had an ego for billions of lifetimes. So what can happen is you can sometimes get an upsurging. The ego kind of gets stressed because it doesn't really like to see us break away. Yeah, you know, what we're doing is we're returning back to our true spiritual nature. That's inside us. Consciousness, you know, there's no thoughts, there's no feelings, it's just neutrality, and it's just pure joy, love. That's what we're returning back to. Now, the ego is the entity here. It's got a lot of dominance over us because it's been in that momentum for thousands of lifetimes, billions of lifetimes. And yes, you're killing it off. Yes, it's purging out. And so you're having this big breakthrough, but sometimes the ego has another counterattack because it can see the progress you're making. So you're going to have to be quite vigilant in November as well, Aries, that these kind of worrisome thoughts or fear-based thoughts, I don't know, emotions, don't start to get the better of you again. You're going to have to stay very, very vigilant to that, because the ego is what keeps us trapped in the samsara, right? Now, I know you all know a lot about this, but, you know, here I am as your spiritual sister, just to give you a heads up and remind you, because it's so frustrating when you feel like you're making this massive breakthrough and then boom, you start to feel like yourself rolling back. You know, you can always message me if you feel like that's happening, and it's usually a very temporary storm, because your ego is having a tantrum like a toddler. Just think of the ego, it is really like a toddler, and it doesn't want to lose its control and grip. It wants to be the big boss, and that's what it may try to do, because at the end of the day, it is losing its grip on you. You're going to just notice your ability to be so calm with relationships that previously really triggered you. But Spirit's working through you, with you on this. I don't think your ego will be able to kick back too much, because I think you've already made the breakthrough. You've got somebody here that is likely to express how they feel about you. And that is truly a miracle, isn't it? Queen of Cups, you know, Queen of Cups typically is somebody who's quite in tune with themselves. They're probably very good at putting themselves first. Okay. But the other thing about them, though, is they do express how they feel. So somebody, like I said, this can open up quite a massive shift. But it's all starting with your energy and the breakthrough you're making. Let's see. Gosh, your person's coming to a major completion. Look at that. The World card was just sitting right underneath in the upright position so I could see it. They're going through the ending of a chapter, and it's a major completion for this person in November. It could mark an anniversary of some kind, or just like, you know, like it's been 1 year since something happened to them, 2 years since something's happened. Do you know what I mean? It's like a landmark. There's a cycle completed, which is good for this person, and then it maybe enables them to express themselves more to you. They're saying, I need to have more fun. They're realising they need to move on from something. Okay, let's have a look. Now, this is my consciousness deck, and it's going to be a message from your spirit guides, like an advice message, and what they're going to be helping you with. I am authentic. Okay, they're going to be helping you to be authentic in November or the next few weeks. And authenticity is a very high frequency, because you know, you're not sort of using a fake persona to act a certain way. You're actually being more truthful, aren't you? It's getting easier. Everything's getting easier in November for you, Aries. I'm really happy about this. I feel like you really deserve it. And you could end up, like I said, with, by the looks of it, with a relationship really improving and somebody actually telling you how they feel, or just being more expressive about how they feel towards you, more interactive with you. It's very nice. So that's the message. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for giving the video a thumbs up. And I will, well, if you want to book in, I have got this more affordable reading, £20 for a voice note reading. You can just contact me to find out more about that if you want. Sending lots of love and peace across Gaia, wherever you are.